Holy shit. A good horror sequel.
What was that?
An oppressing spirit will try to force you to commit the ultimate sin.
And what's that?
Murder, suicide, or both.
The Conjuring 2 is a sequel to the hugely successful The Conjuring. This time around, we follow the Warrens as they head over to Enfield, England to try and help this family that is being terrorized by an unknown entity. Now, I loved the first Conjuring movie. I thought it was a freaking amazing horror film because it was scary throughout, really scary throughout. But just as a film itself, it was just really well crafted. So my fear was basically the fact that horror sequels just don't have a good track record. You might have a good horror movie, but then when they try and create a ton of sequels, it usually doesn't work. Thank God they got James Wan back, because this guy absolutely knows what he's doing. The Conjuring 2 is a film that definitely stands out from other horror films. The way it's shot, the way the camera moves, the sound, the actors, just everything is just another level. So is the film scary? Absolutely. And this is because James Wan definitely knows how to create a scare. He doesn't rely on jump scares, although there are a couple, there's more jump scares than in the first film. But James Wan, he uses familiar elements like, doors closing or, furniture being thrown around. Stuff that you've seen before, but the way he creates the scene around that is what makes it scary. He knows where to position the camera, how to move the camera, what sounds to use. And whenever he uses a jump scare, it actually feels earned. He doesn't actually just throw some characters in a room and then cut the music off and then suddenly like a loud noise or like a face popping up. Like, he'll just build up tension and tension and tension to the point where it's like excruciating, and then you'll have like the ghost or whatever appear. And it's not just that they'll like just jump out at you, like you kind of get to see the ghost before, and then that's when like it goes and like does the scare instead of just like popping up and like scaring everybody instantly. But it feels earned. It's not sudden, like there's something bad gonna happen. But something interesting about this film was the fact that it also had like this like love story tied into it with Ed and Lorraine, and it looks like into what marriage should be, and relationships, and how people should open up to one another, and what makes relationships special, which you would never expect in a horror movie like this. Especially when the first one has been so successful, you would expect it to try and just be more, scarier and more over the top. This actually, it doesn't have the same pacing as the first one, because the first film, I thought it just kept escalating and escalating. Here, the first half of the film, it's just scary throughout, but then it gets into the love part, and it actually has slower moments and character moments, but they serve the film because you actually really care about the family and about the Warrens, and it makes these scares so much more effective because you actually care about what's going on and you don't want bad shit to happen to the people involved. And they are well written scenes, so even if I was not getting scared, I was really invested into it and I was really enjoying what I was seeing. Now, I have a couple problems with the film, which was what made it fall short from the first one. First of all, there is a little bit more of a reliance on like loud noises and a little bit of jump scares. Yes, they do feel earned though, but I was trying to remember in the first Conjuring, and I don't recall any moment where it was like this loud noise happening or anything of that sort. And my second issue is the fact that there's two basic storylines: the Enfield haunting and that family, and you have Lorraine Warren, who she's kind of having visions of this entity of the nun that you've seen in the trailers. And during the finale, they kind of try to connect it all with stuff from the first film and this film, and like her visions with the nun and what's going on with the family, and it just didn't really kind of work for me. I thought it was kind of forced a little bit, so that like the whole film kind of could come full circle. And the third act itself isn't as intense or as scary as, let's say, the one in the first film, which was really intense, really scary, really well done. Here it just kind of was like, yeah, okay. It was entertaining to watch, just not scary or really like intense as it should have been. I think they could have crafted something better and a little bit more coherent. But hey, the rest of the film is just absolutely top notch. I also have to give a shout out to the girl, that plays Janet, who she's the one that's possessed throughout the film. She was fantastic. If she hadn't been a really good actress, this movie would just not have worked, because it does focus a lot on her. And if they had gotten a crappy child actress, which I was afraid would have happened, it would have just, everything would have fallen apart. But yeah, James Wan just surprised me, because I just did not think you could really make a scary horror sequel, especially since he had Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2, and even though I enjoyed Insidious Chapter 2 because of the story itself, it wasn't scary. The first one was scary, the second one wasn't, so I was afraid that The Conjuring 2 was going to fall into something like that. But yeah, like, just keep him coming as long as James Wan is the one that behind the camera. If it's not him, then just stop it, because something like Annabelle just wouldn't be good for The Conjuring.